Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be the PTS check-in at Phase 2. I'm pretty much going over all the stuff that was fixed for Phase 2. This was posted by Jurassic. If you guys don't know who UB Jurassic is, he pretty much publishes a lot of things on the PTS check-in, or pretty much the PTS in general, or pretty much on the Ubisoft forums in general. Hello agents, we recently concluded Phase 2 of our public test server PTS for PC players on Ubisoft Connect last Tuesday, April 19th. We are immensely grateful for all the feedback received following Phase 2 and want to share our findings and next steps based on your experience on PTS. In Phase 2, we want to focus on your feedback and attention specifically on new gear balance adjustments and countdown changes. We're going to be covering the gear and balancing first. Obviously, Heartbreaker, that's the big one a lot of people are talking about. Heartbreaker is too powerful. Right now, we are happy with what it adds to the game, and there are no plans to change that anytime soon. We have looked at your conversation on efficiency of the gears and so far, we are satisfied with where it landed. Buff Heartbreaker. The way it's been behaving during Phase 2, with stacks disappearing after 5 seconds instead of starting to diminish, similar to the Striker gear set behavior was intended, but your feedback convinces to do things differently. In Phase 3, you can expect the following changes. You'll lose 2 stacks per second instead of losing all stacks after 5 seconds, which to me that's really cool because it'll make it a little bit more easier to use. Heartbreaker is blue, defense, which a lot of people are expecting to be red, which I'm kind of not surprised that it's blue because it made more sense to me. We do not see the need to change it at this time, but we'll keep a close eye on your feedback after TU15 releases. While Heartbreaker has a damage buff, this sets also durability one of the armor bonuses you can get and makes it more sense with a higher armor value, hence the blue cores. So I feel like if you're using damage talents with this, you're going to be hitting pretty hard, and it has a damage buff in general. So I feel like the blues was there to kind of give you more tankiness and not get absolutely wrecked. Resolve issue, the mash should give blue defense stats. Issues have been fixed. Now, this is the big one for me, the Keenbreaker named LMG. This thing was, in my opinion, way too slow, and it still has a UI glitch, so it doesn't look how it should. But it was upgraded from 500 RPM to 650, which is way more realistic, and I think people could actually work with that for the PTS Phase 3. The same applies to the TKB 408 assault rifle, which is what the Keenbreaker is. The Dare LMG uses AR attachments 556. That's been fixed. Blue screen does not have an exclusive skin, has not been fixed. The Destructor Round Talent's exotic weapon blue screen cannot be triggered. Focus Talent does not work with a new exotic. Dread Edict has now been fixed. So, if this is the case of the blue screen skin, if they have fixed both the exotics, maybe I'll be able to show you guys actually what they look like in the PTS Phase 3, because before they were glitched and they looked nothing like they were supposed to. Catharsis feels strong, please don't nerf it. We are happy to see that you're excited about it, and right now we have no plans to make any changes. Countdown. As mentioned earlier, our goal for Countdown was to make challenging but not impossible to beat for 8 matchmade players with mixed build qualities. It would also add additional challenges for players in more organized groups and better builds to try to compete it or complete it with less than 8 players. You can read more about the PTS Phase 1 findings here. Countdown difficulty adjustment. Right now, we are happy with the most difficulty, and your Phase 2 feedback echoes our sentiment. There are no plans to change the general difficulty in the remaining PTS phase, as well as to U15 candidates master build. Once again, we are thankful for all the opinions shared in us, our forums, and social media channels. These changes are a direct result of your proactivity and dedication. Of course, we'll be monitoring Countdown feedback once TU15 is out and more players can get their hands on the mode. And just a quick reminder, the possibility of adding other difficulty options under investigation. You expect to hear from us after TU15 releases. The matchmaking issues, which I know a lot of you guys are having issues with this, getting delta errors. While the situation with the delta errors has improved since Phase 1, we are aware that it's still present and negatively affecting the PTS experience following Phase 2. The majority of the issues has been identified as a fix for Phase 3 to acknowledge that very specific conditions need to be met for players who receive the delta error. Some of you reported waiting for a long time to be matchmade with other players and get to a group of 8 players. The reason for this is that the Phase 2 population was lower compared to Phase 1. Since the server opening time was not announced up front, going forward, we will make sure to be more consistent with our communication about timing to help you fit Division 2 happening in your schedule. So that's new. That's good. Hopefully they'll give an exact time, because PTS Phase 2, when I got on, was pretty empty. There wasn't a whole lot of people. PTS Phase 1 feedback expertise changes some high main points we took from Phase 2. Upgrade cost too high. We heard your concern about the cost being too high, especially for those who tend to shortly play sessions, and we agree that every playstyle should be taken into account and rewarded appropriately for the time spent in the game. After careful consideration, we decided to settle on lowering the cost field recon data, SHD calibration, and exotic materials by half from 11 up to 20, levels 1 to 10, and 21 plus remain unchanged. We believe these changes would suit the wider range of Division 2 players. On top of reduction I mentioned above, we have reduced the material requirements for all ranks, gear pieces, another half. Now, gear pieces will require 2 times less material for upgrades to make it more consistent with the number of materials you need for weapons and skill upgrades. Expertise armor bonus should be increased. We hear you, but we do not want to react too fast. Increasing armor even further could have bigger consequences, which a lot of you guys kind of already figured that. Players have more time to feature after TU15 releases, after which we'll be actively looking more in your feedback on armor bonuses. And as you guys know right now, like everyone's using Adrenaline Rush, so I feel like they're trying to get away from lots of armor. UI features and quality of life improvements. The Donate All button was added to Expertise menu based on Phase 1 feedback. Unfortunately, using the Donate All junk button from the Expertise menu resulted in donating all items no matter if they had been marked as favorite or for recalibration or if they were just part of a loadout. The issue has now been fixed. Additionally, we added the Donate All junk button in the main Expertise menu. There's some other stuff. The floating head glitch has now been fixed for the PTS, which was common. Shield changes. They're not changing anything really about the shield. Some people are unhappy about it, but they are going to keep that. No PTS on console. If you guys are curious why, you can read this, which I'm just going to click on it real quick. I'm not going to read all the way through it or really read through it at all, but if you guys want a quick little overview of what it is and why the PTS doesn't run on console. I've talked about this multiple times with a lot of people, so if you're just curious, that's pretty much it right there. And some people were asking me on the PTS, like, what computer have I run on the PTS before? The lowest I've gone, like, I think my old computer was a 580, was a RX 580, and I used that to play the PTS, and it ran Division, pretty basically and pretty smooth. I didn't have any issues with that, and it was I think that computer I paid $600 for at the time, and all the other things I've played PC games on it, and it runs the PTS pretty smooth compared to like a 2080. Obviously, it's going to be not as good as a 2080, but I guess or even the 3080. But if you have any of those, or even have an RX 580, which is a pretty budget graphics card, and you want to build a computer, I've had multiple friends build them for about $500 just to play the PTS or play Division on PC in general. And obviously, things have changed, and some parts are a little harder to get than others, especially graphics cards. Still, some are a pain in the ass to find. But if you're going to make a PC and play the PTS on it, you could probably buy a pre-built like some of my friends have, or just buy a few parts and build it off of a pre-built, and you can play this pretty easily. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And when Phase 3 comes out, I'll try to cover a few things on that, like hopefully the high-end weapons their models have been changed, so I can cover those, and same goes for the exotics.